Let's Good morning, Maurice. This is Member Brown. Can you hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you loud and clear.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
All right, good morning. Liz, we can get started.
You're muted.
Looks like my headphones are not working. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Sure thing. Ms. Barnes? I don't see her yet. Oh, I do see her. Ms. Barnes?
I do see her.
Ms. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Faith?
Present.
Ms. Britt?
Here.
I see Ms. Barnes is unmuted.
Here.
That's Ms. Okay, thank you.
Barnes is here.
Thank you. Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you.
Now, before you, you have a case that is being postponed due to an addition from Building and Housing to the notice of nonconformance. So this case has to be reposted as the neighbors need to be aware of the change. We are looking at June 27th for that date, or the second week in July, since the first week is a holiday. So that would be July 11th, either June 27th or July 11th.
What is the June 27th agenda full yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, we can put it on there then.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all that we have this morning. Correct, Maurice?
Correct. And Madam Chair, I do see that we have a councilman with us today, Councilman Starr.
Okay, all right, Ms. Faith.
Good morning.
We'll get started with that case.
All right. As a courtesy to the council people, when they are present, we take them in the order in which they arrived. Today we have Councilman Starr with us. So we're going to begin with calendar number 22-068. This is at 3195 East 65th Street. David Sims, owner, proposes to install a fence and gate in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinance as stated in the agenda and the public record. This is section 35803, which states that any portion of a fence located along a parallel to a driveway within 15 feet of its intersection with a public sidewalk shall be 75% opacity above 2.5 feet. And with that, Ms. Brown for the oath.
Good morning. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply "I do," state your name and your address, please.
Ms. Sims, I do.
Your address, sir?
3195 East 65th Street, Your Honor.
And Councilman Starr, you need to swear in as well.
Councilmember Richard Starr. I do.
Your address, you can give City Hall.
601 Lakeside, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Anyone else for this case? Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1960, a permit was issued to repair fire loss to a manufacturing building. There are no variances on file for this address, and in the more recent history, I found nothing of note. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Sims, tell us what you like to do.
First of all, I'd like to apologize because I didn't know the rules and regulations. But first, I would like to say, I think the fence greatly.
Mr. Sims, we can't hear you.
1 minute.
Okay.
I said, first, I'd like to apologize for not knowing the rules and regulations. And secondly, I would like to say the fence is only visible to my neighbors to the north. And they have no objection, nor does it obstruct their field of view. Other neighbors or travelers can only see the fence if they drive up and down East 65th Street. I replaced the fence because I had 2 thefts there. It was a standing fence there, but it was a link fence. I replaced the fence because of 2 thefts. And I put this fence up because I know if they can't see it, they won't steal it. Plus, it makes the area look 100% better. I take care of that area, the area next door, and the place across the street, which does not belong to me. Also, I welcome the Board of Zoning Appeal to come and take a look at it before they make a decision and tell me if this should be taken down or removed.
We're taking a look at it through the, we're taking a look at it through the pictures here. So what I'm understanding is you put this fence up without getting a permit.
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay. All right. Can you just explain the, you say you're doing it for security purposes, but can you just, we're looking at it here, but can you just explain the fence? Is it wood fence? Mr. Sims? Uh-oh, did we lose him?
Oh, we might have lost him. I think he dropped off.
Uh-oh.
Madam Chair, I also want to point out that looks like Robert Brown has his hand raised. I'm not sure if it's for this case or R. Brown. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, they didn't swear in for this case.
No, that's an error. No, I don't have my hand raised. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, we'll call on the councilman and then hopefully Mr. Sims can make his way back in. Councilman?
Good morning, everyone. I've received numerous calls regarding this fence, and I just wanted to make sure that whoever the owner, Mr. Sims, understand the rules and regulations and the zoning when in regards to putting up fences. I really do not have too much negative things to say about it, but I have received multiple calls in which residents were we're just talking about what is going on, how he's done this from the McDonald family to Gary, who lives around the corner. So they were supposed to be joining, I believe, to talk more so from their standpoint. But if it's not in compliance to zoning, I think we should ask him to take it down. But if there's a way to make sure we do change some of the ordinance, so therefore he can keep it up, I am in support of that as well. I just want to make sure it's done right and it's not causing any problems for the neighbors or anything going on. And also, I wanted to probably ask Mr. Sims a few questions to understand what type of business or what type of service he's doing. He did mention he take care of a couple of different lots, and I'm trying to figure out, what the purpose is of it and things like that. But I see we lost him.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Maurice Rollins, City Planning. I just also had some questions for Mr. Sims about the fact that the adjacent property is, according to the records that I can find, is actually a land bank lot. And I'm just wondering if he also put the fence up that goes across the adjacent property, because that's not his property, it's the city property.
I would hope not.
Does he have
Yeah,
an application or a request pending, Maurice?
I sent an email down to James Green, but I have not heard back, so I don't know.
Also, I have not received one either, I don't believe, from my office as well.
Right, because the councilman would also get an application because he has to ultimately approve it.
okay, well, it seems like we still have lost him. So we'll put a pause on this. We got testimony from everyone. So we'll pause this and hopefully we can get him back. If not, we'll have to postpone this case and just noting that we already got, testimony. So we'll move on to the next case, Ms. Faith, and then hopefully we can get him back.
Okay, so we'll go back to the top of the agenda, which is calendar number 22-065. This is at 4340 East 71st Street. Ohio Real Token 1 LLC owner proposes to install a 6-foot tall fence in a B1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Again, this is section 358.05A2, which states that in non-residential districts other than general and unrestricted industry districts, fences in actual front yard and side yard shall not exceed 4 feet in height and shall be at least 50% open and 2.5 feet in height. Proposed fence is a 6-foot high privacy fence, solid. And with that, to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name, and provide your address, please.
I do. My name is Rochelle Stoner, and the address is 4597 Great Northern Boulevard, number 216, North Olmsted, Ohio, 44070.
I do. My name is Tony Brancatelli. My address is 6924 Ottawa, Cleveland, Ohio, 44105.
Anyone else, please? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Oh, Madam, did we get Karen has her hand raised?
Well, does she want to swear in for this case?
That's what I'm asking. Karen, you're muted.
Hi,
Oh, there you go.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was having a little technical difficulties with that unmute button. Karen Widmar, I do.
Did you want to?
Yes, I do. Karen Widmar, 4321 East 71st Street.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2008, it was changed to the local retail business district. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1927, a permit was issued to erect a garage. In 1980, a permit was issued to demolish a two-family dwelling. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by the other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, who will be the spokesperson for this case?
I will.
And you are?
Rochelle Stoner.
Okay, Ms. Stoner, go ahead.
Okay, the property fence we're talking about, I'm looking at your diagram here. On the very bottom of the diagram where they're no upside down, the number is 63.
Mm-hmm.
So this section of fence is along the side street by the name of Kashmir. And the opposite side of the street, the closed, I think it's Roman Catholic Church, is along the other side. All of that is a closed church. So that area there is the area of fence that we're talking about, not the front section. The front section is already planned to be a white vinyl picket fence 4 foot tall. So that's around the patio to improve the look of the patio for the little restaurant there. And so this would be, see those little X's above the 50-foot mark? There's little X's. Okay, so the wood section that we're requesting to be changed would start right there along the sidewalk back to where it says 30.20 to that section there, and that rear section is a driveway.
Okay, so where you have it, how many feet off the sidewalk are you for that portion of it?
This says, I'm looking at the same plan. The note in the front, it says 6 feet. Hold on, no, that's something else. Hold on, it says 60 feet off 71st Street. Hold on one second.
Madam Chair, I would like to point out that these are two different slides I'm going back and forth between. One has the blue line, and I imagine the proposed fence towards the back here, and then the next slide, I believe, shows what they want to do at East 71st, not to confuse you.
Well, I am confused, so.
Oh, it's 7 foot off of Kashmir.
Okay.
It's on page 2.
But that's not 7 foot off of the sidewalk.
Correct. It says 7 foot off of Kashmir. I'd have to call Northeast Ohio Fence and ask for that detail.
Well, it should be written on this plan.
Yeah, well, I didn't create the plan, so I apologize. They did the plan, they submitted it, and they really didn't want to go to the variance meeting and ask the variance, so sorry about that.
All right, Maurice, you went out here, right? Is this?
Yeah, well, here I can show you the pictures that I took. It might help a little bit. So I think this, in the bottom left-hand slide, I think she's talking about this where my cursor is, the wood fence. And I guess I'm just guessing that this wood fence here is being removed. And I think she's replacing this fence here. And then towards the front, I believe they're doing a white picket fence that's 4 foot high. And I think that wraps the corner. So when you go down in the bottom right-hand picture, that's the front where my cursor is. And so I believe the white picket fence, of which I have no cut sheet or no real details on, it's kind of hard to approve this or even recommend approval because I don't really have sufficient materials to make a determination what they're actually talking about. And as you know, Ms. Kukla does send out a letter to each applicant asking to submit additional materials by Wednesday, and we never got anything for this case.
Where did, question, where did that go to? Did it go to Northeast Ohio Fence? I have emails from Maurice and from Elizabeth, but I don't have anything requesting for more information. So I'm wondering if if it didn't go to me, that's all I'm saying.
That would be Ms. Kukla sends those out. I don't know who she sent the letter to. Probably the property owner, Ms. Kukla?
Yes, we sent it to Ohio Real Token 1 at their.
We were worried.
Works Hall.
Okay, thank you. We were worried that was going to happen with something, that it
Then
was
we
going to get
also-
confused.
Madam Chair, we also sent it to Neo Fence Deck at Broadway Avenue.
Yeah, and they haven't contacted me for anything, you know.
Okay, well, I'm feeling like we don't have all the information we need to make a decision here.
Madam Chair, we have Mr. Brancatelli with his hand raised.
Go ahead, Mr. Brancatelli.
Yes, thank you. Is it appropriate for additional testimony at this time?
Yeah, you can go ahead. We can have it for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for hearing this case. This has been a longstanding concern, and I, when I was councilman previously, received a number of complaints on this property, and the complaints that still are present, I think, would warrant an inspection. The back building there's multiple buildings on the site. The back building there is Maurice has photograph shows that there's now a towing company operating there, and that rear fence that was put up illegally, that wooden fence that Maurice had pointed out, that used to be parking for tenants, but now is fenced in for illegal storage and illegal use for a tow yard. There's also mechanical work going on in the back buildings that is not legal because it's not zoned properly to do auto repair, mechanical, and towing in the back. And I had received complaints from residents that some of their parking spots were removed because they had requested to remove the no parking signs on Casimir. And across the street from the church, it's no longer a church, but it is a school. And one of the tenants had raised the issue that previously the previous owner had certificate rental registration for 3 units, but the person that had called me said there's 7 units. I had sent off pictures that there's air conditioning unit in the 3rd floor. I had not been in the building, but I would suggest that this warrants an inspection from Building and Housing, both for illegal use as well as illegal conversions. And then the fencing in the back that now is a storage area raises a lot of questions for Building and Housing for inspections. And I know there's another resident that lives nearby. I had received calls from residents when the zoning notices went out by Ms. Kukla, which is why I asked to participate in this hearing. It was my understanding that the councilwoman was going to request a postponement, but I guess that has not occurred. So, which is why I stayed online. And that's all I have at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, they're only here for the fence today, so those other issues definitely need to be brought up to Building and Housing directly. But we do not have enough information to actually make a ruling on the fence today, I don't think.
And I know Karen's online as well.
Yes. So Karen, you can go ahead and submit your testimony if you like, but we are going to postpone this case.
Hi, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you for Tony bringing up the fact that that is not just an empty, closed church. That is part of the school, and the children do use that school, the building, for activities. We see them coming in and out of that school often. So I just want to say it's just not an empty building. So that's a safety concern for me, having that fence up with all those kids around. That property has been, I don't know, just always something going on. When you say it's a towing in the back, I thought people lived back there because somebody told me they lived there. So I just want to say I agree with what Tony said about all the issues going on there. And I guess I'm okay with the white fence going around the restaurant area I would be concerned if it was all fenced in, because if you see that black box there, I believe that's where they store or dispose of grease. So that would be a safety concern for me if that was all fenced in. So I just really am hoping that the committee or the zoning board does take a visit out there, or whoever needs to come out and take a look at it before they grant this appeal. On behalf of myself, I've lived here for 46 years, and there's just been that property's just, people are in and out of it all the time. So thank you so much for that and allowing me to speak at this hearing.
All right, thank you. So Ms. Stoner, we don't have enough information to rule on the fence today, so we're gonna postpone the case. What you need is to make sure that the drawings you have are clear about where the fence is gonna go, how far off the sidewalk it's gonna be, how far away from the from your neighbor it's gonna be, a cut sheet showing what kind of fence is gonna go in the front and on the side. So we'll have all that information up front so we can make an informed decision, okay?
Okay, so I wrote down, it's getting postponed, and we need to know how far the sidewalk is, excuse me, the fence is from the sidewalk, and a cut sheet.
Yes, and from
Right,
your
well,
neighbor.
you need a dimension drawing, which you don't have. A scaled dimension drawing and cut sheets.
So we're gonna postpone. Can I get a date, Liz?
So June 27th or July 11th? July 11th works best for us.
All right, we'll push it to July 11th. And in the meantime, Mr. Brigatelli, if all the issues you have with the building and housing, you need to come out there for that. You need to contact them directly to let them know that.
Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Does anyone know if Mr. Sims made it back or not?
Thank
Look
you.
like it.
I do not.
Doesn't look like it. Okay, all right, well, we're gonna postpone this case. Mr. Sims is not back yet, so we'll move to the next one, Ms. Faith.
All right. Moving along to calendar number 22-064. This is at 656 East 109th Street. Elizabeth Tilley, owner, proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 9 occupants in a 1-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address, please. Anyone here for this case, please swear in.
I do see Miss Tilley. She is unmuted. Maybe she's having some microphone troubles. Miss Tilley has her hand raised. Are you having trouble? We can't hear you. You might want to try calling in just for the audio portion. The phone numbers are in the invite.
Is there anyone else? Then we can swear anyone else in while she's trying to handle that. So no one else for this case? Technical difficulty Monday. Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll
Yes.
send her the I'll send her the link again and highlight the call-in number.
Okay.
Madam Chair, would you like to move on to the next case?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Apparently, it's fence day here at Boza. This is calendar number 22-069. This is at 14219 Miles Avenue. Everybody Drives owner proposes to erect a 6-foot high ornamental fence in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from section number 358.05A2, which states a non-residential. And we have some feedback.
Oh, is that?
Hello?
If that's Miss Tully? Yes, is that Miss Tully?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You'll want to turn down your speakers probably on your computer. That might be causing the feedback.
Feedback. I'm sorry. Can you hear me
there
now?
There we go. Yes.
Right. Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm not. I didn't know my thingamajiggy. I didn't even know I didn't have a
It's
camera.
okay. Not a problem.
Madam Chair,
where's
would
my
you like-
face? Everybody's faces.
Madam Chair,
Madam
would you
Chair,
like
how
to
do you want
loop back?
Yeah, we can loop back since we didn't swear anyone in yet, so we can
All
loop
right,
back.
great. Okay, so
Okay.
returning to calendar number 22-064, we have Ms. Tilly on the line, so we'll go to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address.
I do. And my name is Elizabeth Tilly, and it's 656 East 109th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44108.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1909, a permit was issued to erect a 2-story dwelling and garage. 1974, a permit was issued to erect a fence. There are no variances on file for this address. And in the more recent history in our Acela system, I found that in 2019, there was a certificate of occupancy issued stating that the use is at state licensed residential unit for up to 5 residents. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Tilly, tell us what you'd like to do.
I take care of 5 mentally ill men, and those are the rooms that I'm proposing to put them in. I'm trying to move up to 9. And there's enough space for everybody to live cohesively. I take care of low income, seniors that have dementia or some kind of mental illness. We provide housing, and we keep them in the community to avoid them being placed in nursing homes, because a lot of them does not have any family to take care of them. So this is a type of a compassionate type facility.
Okay, Ms. Tilly, tell us about your business. What hours do you operate? Do you disseminate medication? Like how does what goes on a daily basis there?
Okay, we don't warehouse people. everybody goes out into the community they go to senior centers or mentally health organizations where they have day activities. So they're usually gone Monday through Friday during the day, you know, from like 8:30 to maybe they start coming back at 3. And then they live there. This is their home. You know, they have meals, they watch television, they sit on the porch. I'm fixing the yard so we can garden. This is their home. So I don't know what you mean by hours of operations. It's 24/7.
Okay, well that's the answer to that question. 24/7.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So they live here, and during the day, most of them leave and go to some kind of adult daycare facility during the day. Then they come back and they socialize, congregate, and have meals in your home, in that home. Correct?
Yes, this is their. No one lives there but them. We have the
Right.
staff that come in 24/7. I don't live there. There's no live-ins. We staff it. There's on staff 3 shifts.
You have shifts of staff workers.
7 days.
Okay. All
Yes,
days of the
I'm
week.
one. Yes, every day. They're never there alone because they're not allowed to be.
Okay. And you currently have how many?
Right now I have 5.
Okay. And are you licensed to have more than 5?
No, because I can't. I have to get occupancy permits to have the 4 more.
Okay, so you have to come here first before you get that. Okay.
Right. Yes.
All right. So you're already operating with 5. Have you spoken to any of your adjacent neighbors about your plans to increase that number?
None of them have a problem with that. I don't bother. You know, my residents are supervised, so they're not out walking around. They age from 86 to 60, so they're not out. I don't have residents that are walking around. They're not drug users or alcoholics or any of that. They're just, other than, if they're not in my home, these people would be in nursing homes, and that's unfair because they can be in the community living their best lives.
Okay, I'm just trying to get a better understanding of what you're doing here. So thank you for answering those questions.
Yes, ma'am,
Maurice,
no problem.
Maurice, are you going to represent city planning for this one?
Yes, Madam Chair. I guess the only question I had was that the plans show 8 bedrooms, but you're asking for 9 residents.
Well, one
And
bedroom
each bedroom
has,
says 1 occupant.
no, one bedroom, the bedroom number 4 has 2 occupants. And that the state approves that. So the 1 bedroom 4 that has the 2 occupants, I've been licensed for. So the rooms that I'm talking about is 7, 8, you know, the other ones.
Okay.
On the
I'm just
third
going off your
plan.
plan. It says 1 occupant in bedroom 4. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a mistake on my part.
Maurice,
But
could
Madam
you
Chair,
blo-
this is
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Could you blow up that floor plan just a little for him?
even more. It's going to get more blurry, but I can blow it up a little bit.
You can do it better from your.
Thank you. That's good. All right.
Madam Chair, as you know, we
floor has
normally
a
like to get.
bathroom.
Okay.
We normally like to get community input, and support from the councilman.
The councilman already gave me permission. Sorry. I'm sorry to be rude.
So you've already, Ms. Tilly, so you've already spoken to Councilman Conwell about this?
Yes, he came out before I even, I've talked to Councilman Conwell. In fact, they wrote an article about me in the Plain Dealer where he spoke about me, and the pastor across the street spoke about me, because I had to get permission from there's a church across the street, church and school, you know, because he was worried that I was going to have sexual offenders. No, that's not my intent. So I spoke to the pastor across the street. Those are the bedrooms.
Yeah, I think we have
right
that article
over.
you talked about. I kind of saw it come through before.
Right. So, you know, I'm not a problem in the neighborhood, not at all. And this gives my people somewhere, you know, they have somewhere, you know, these guys don't have anybody. They do, but their family is not willing to take them in. So, you know, some of them have come through community mental health, and some of them come from McGregor Pace, and some of them come from recovery resources. It just depends, but they're seniors. They're not young guys perusing the neighborhood, bothering people. We don't do that.
I understand.
So I take great lengths in screening who I'll accept because of that, and so I can be respectful of my neighbors.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. Maurice, did you
You're
want to
welcome.
add anything else?
If the councilman and the community have no problem with this, we do not object.
All right, thank you. Board members, any questions? If not, I entertain a motion.
Just one question. Ms. Tilly, is
Okay.
this your only home or do you have another one?
No, that's my only home. I mean, I have a residence where I live,
No,
but
I
that's
meant
the only
where
home.
you provide services. Thank you, ma'am.
No, this is my only one. Thank you.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, would you want to make this conditional on getting a letter from the council person?
No, I think I think we can take testimony of
Comfortable?
the appellant as well as this news article here. It's not a secret.
Yep. All right, great. All right, Madam Chair, given the testimony from the appellant, which states that the residents are 60 to 86 years old currently, they are housed in the home 24/7 with staffing 24/7, 3 shifts of staffing. So a staff person is always present. And the residents are typically gone from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. She has been ongoing with caring for residents for some time now, with 5 occupants, with obviously good press, stated support from the council person, and no complaints from the neighbors. She seeks to increase from 5 to 9 occupants, and looking at the floor plan has space in order to house them, and cannot get licensing to increase her occupancy level until we approve a variance for that. So with all that stated, I move that we go ahead and approve the variance for calendar number 22-064, and to continue to allow her to provide care for elderly men in need of 24/7 care.
All right, thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Ms. Barnes?
Ms. Barnes, second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Barnes?
Ms. Barnes, yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar number 22-064 is granted. It'll be ratified when
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
Hold on.
Thank you.
We have a little more official business to say, but hold on one second, Ms. Tilly. Go ahead, Liz.
The biggest part is done. Thank you.
It'll be ratified on June 6th, and after that, we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, now you can rejoice, Ms. Tilly.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to eat my breakfast now. Oh, one quick question. So now what do I have to do?
So, Madam Chair, to the appellant,
Mhm.
we'll send you a letter. This is not your permit. You will have to take your application back to Building and Housing to get your official permit.
Thank you. You
Yes.
guys have a wonderful week. Thank you.
Thank you.
You
You too.
too. All right.
All right, Miles Ave.
One exciting.
Can I leave?
exciting-
Can I leave the? Can I leave this? Can I close and go?
You
Yes,
may, Miss
you
Tilly.
can.
Okay. Thank you. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Miss Tilly's very excited, so that's
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
It's always nice when we can make someone happy. Going back to calendar number 22-069 at 14219 Miles Avenue. Everybody Drives owner proposes to erect a 6-foot high ornamental fence in a C1 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from section 358.05A2, which states in non-residential districts other than general or unrestricted industry districts, fences in actual front yards and side yards shall not exceed 4 feet in height and shall be at least 50% open, above 2.5 feet in height. The proposed fence is 6 foot high. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name, and provide your address. Thank you.
I do. My name is Derek Childs. I'm the Director of Construction Design for Container Homes USA. I am the contracted builder with the license pulled, located at 14219 Miles Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
And I'm the owner, Leon Greer, at 14219 Miles Avenue.
Anyone else? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration office, I found that a permit was issued to erect a stores and dwelling building. At the time, it was 2 stories and a garage. There are no variances for this address. And in the more recent history in our Acela system, I found that the owner applied for auto seals, but that permit application is still pending, and it states that it's pending inspection. So that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting an area variance from the fencing regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Who will be the spokesperson for this case?
I will.
And you are?
My name is Derek Childs, and I'm the Director of Construction Design for Container Homes USA. I design
Okay.
the
I
village.
didn't need all that. I just need to know who you are. So go ahead. So you can go ahead and present the case.
So the problem that we're having with this situation is right before and during construction, thieves have been stealing catalytic converters off of these cars. We've had a car ran right through the fence, which was, they were able to get over the fence. We had the video surveillance of them getting over the fence and actually still in the car. And I believe that if we put a 6-foot fence up, it's already been approved for a dog paddle full covered fence on the back right-hand corner, that will deter them from being able to get in the yard. A 4-foot fence is a simple situation. We would like to have it totally exposed, where you can see clearly through it. And we believe that it would be an asset to the community. It's nice. It's going to be clean. It's going to be a beautiful new building to the community. And the fence, it's going to be see-through. We think it'll help secure the lot even more.
Okay, let's see where all right, I'm trying to look at the plans here. Can you just describe exactly what perimeter you're going to put the fence? Is it around the whole all the land or just part of, like, I can't really tell from these.
So on the, I can't, so on the back top left corner,
Mm-hmm.
the fence is gonna come off the back corner. I believe it's 24 feet, right to the edge of where that concrete is, and then it's gonna start ornamental. It's gonna come down the side, and then it's gonna hit Miles. And we wanna run that fence from that corner where that driveway is, that concrete pad is, all the way down 6 foot, all the way across the front, and then all the way down to the back corner off of 143rd.
Okay.
And it'll have gates that'll be on there that he can put a security lock on it with wheels on it to open it up with pad bars that'll drop in and lock them in place.
And it'll be black ornamental?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Mr. Greer, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Maurice, is this you? Or do we have someone?
This would be me again. Yes, Madam
Okay.
Chair. Yeah, this would be a huge improvement over the chain link fence that's there now. And I totally understand the security issue with needing a 6 foot high. It's a decorative metal fence that is pretty much transparent. So we don't think it would have a negative impact at all. So we're 100% in support of this.
Yeah, and I have been hearing a lot about these catalytic converter thefts going on. So it's definitely something that's happening. All right, I'll open up to my board. Any questions?
Madam Chair. Sorry.
Go ahead, Liz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If the appellant could speak to the issue of the certificate of occupancy not being issued yet for the use. And if you could speak a little further about the new building on the site, that should be a separate permit application. I don't believe I saw that in the system yet.
I believe once we have it built, they're gonna come out and, you have your standard inspections for all your mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, and all that stuff. And then once it's built, I believe they'll be out for a final inspection to issue the occupancy permit.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to be sure that the appellant knew that this is not the permit or the permit application for that. Today, we are just talking about the fence.
Absolutely. Yes, and just so you know, the construction has already started. We started it and then the weather hit, but we're getting ready. I believe we're pouring either tomorrow or Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere, depending weather permitting. We'll be putting in the foundation, and the actual units have already been fabricated, and they'll be spray painted sometime next week, and then we'll prepare for installation.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Brown, you had a question?
Now I have two questions. Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Childs, I think Liz was asking you, Ms. Kukla was asking you, do you have a permit for the building?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Great. And Mr. Childs, what is the business that you will operate on this site?
It will be an auto sales dealership, auto car dealership. Everybody drives Automart.
Thank you.
It's already been functioning for, Leon could probably tell you that better than I could, but it's already been in functioning as a business, for the last couple of years before he became a client.
Oh, without a certificate of occupancy?
No, there was just a trailer there.
They're actually building a building now.
Yeah, we're actually building an actual,
Yeah.
Yes, a building. It was just like a mobile trailer.
Yeah, gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Childs.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, board?
Quick question, Madam Chair, to Mr. Childs. So there's one gate, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. There'll be one gate.
And it's a
And
roller gate?
well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There'll be a gate on Miles, and then there's a gate also on 140, the 142, 143.
Okay, so
Down that side street.
two gates.
Two gates. Yes, ma'am.
Are there roller gates, and are they manual, or will they be electrified?
They'll be manual for now. He did speak to me. The owner spoke to me about possibly doing it at a later time, but at this particular, because of expenses, he wants to just maintain manual.
Manual gates. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Childs.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair, I can proceed with a motion.
Go ahead.
We've heard testimony from Mr. Childs on behalf of the owner, explaining that the fence will be black ornamental and will be at a 6-foot height, primarily because of numerous thefts of catalytic converters, which we know is rampant across the city. And so it will offer them, as a car dealership, more security. Mr. Childs has told us there's going to be 2 gates. At the time, there'll be manual with the contingency to make them powered at some point in the future. City planning is on board with this project. I think we're all in agreement that this will be an improvement to the parcel and the neighborhood. So with that, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-069.
Member
Thank you.
Brown,
Can I
I
have a-
second.
All right, Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Barnes,
Ms. Barnes, yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-069 is granted. It'll be ratified when we meet next, and we will ratify that case on June 6th specifically, and we will send the appellant a letter after that.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. A lot of
I
excited,
love Cleveland. I love Cleveland.
a lot of
Have a great
excited
day.
people here today. at BZA.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, we
Ms.
don't
Faith.
usually get this much excitement.
No.
No, this is we feel like we're in a party mood today, don't we? So moving on to calendar number 22-071. This is at 341 Eddy Road. Western Inc. owner proposes to establish use as a concrete supply plant with an outside stockpile of materials in a semi-industry district and a general industry district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, state your name and your address, please.
Yes, Larry Greer, address 1406 Belrose Road, Mayfield, Ohio.
Richard Brown, address is 2930 Prospect Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
Anyone else?
Camille DeTore, 2344 Canal Road, Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, I found that in 1919, there was a factory addition. 1927, there was a storage addition. And also in 1928 and 1938, we found that there were also other additions placed on the property. And in the Acela system, I didn't find any other records of note, and that is all that I have, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the distance and fencing regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, who's the spokesperson for this case?
I am Larry Greer.
Okay, Mr. Greer, go ahead.
I came into the community of the Glenville area to open up a concrete supply plant and also provide 25 jobs within the next 3 years of the Glenville community, specifically where I grew up in, over on Lakeview and on Edmonton Avenue in Cleveland. I was told, I was told that, you know, I had the zoning rights. Maybe I might have been misinformed or whatever, to be able to open up my concrete batch plant, mobile concrete batch plant over there. And yes, I would, yes, of course, there is fencing over there. And I don't believe that it will be where the stockpiles are at. They're small stockpiles. I don't believe that it will be affecting the homes over there in that area. And it's specifically outlined where the batch plant is sitting, right where those yellow arrows. The batch plant is right there, and with that at the edge of that middle arrow going back towards the red line to where that black mark, which is the building that we're in. So it's a nice distance away from the homes, and the building itself, the building and the batch plant itself sits in between the city water pollution control, which is directly next door, and then you have that building. I'm sorry, if you could go back a little bit. If you could go back to the last page, please. There you go. Now, the building itself, the other building is blocking Taft Road, which would, it shouldn't be have any issues with dust or whatever going over towards the homes over in that area also.
Actually, can you go back to the aerials, Maurice? I can tell better from that.
Sure can.
Okay, Mr. Greer, from this aerial, can you explain where your stockpiles are going to be?
My stockpiles will be directly next to, my stockpiles are directly next to the cell tower. If you can, if you
They're right here.
right, yeah, that's where the
Okay.
cell tower at. The stockpiles is right there.
Okay. And that building across the street is the water treatment plant, you said?
Now the building right, yeah, right where his hand is at, that's the water treatment plant right there.
Sewer district.
Yeah, the sewer district.
Okay. Okay, and what would be your hours of operation? And just explain what you do with the stockpiles once you get them, like how that process goes, so we can kind of understand that better.
Yes, ma'am. All right, the stockpiles are over by the like I said before, it's over by the cell phone towers, and I will pick, once we're in operation, we pick them up and we dump them into the batch plant, which is relatively like the batch plant itself is 52 feet in length because it's I bought it specifically small just for this area to be able to operate. It's not a typical concrete batch plant that you see hanging off the side of the big whirling smoke piles, smokestacks coming off the side of the freeway where you be riding down the freeway. It's extremely small. I bought it like that so I could be able to operate over here in the Glenville area. It's in the hours of operation will basically be between 7 and 4.
So 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And once you get a stockpile and you put it there, what's the average on how long they will sit before you have movement?
The average time that it will sit before I will have movement will be within a day.
Okay. And can you talk about what your mitigation will you be is it like you wet them down, or like what are your mitigation factors to ensure that you don't have a lot of dust flying?
Yes, I will be wetting them down with a sprinkler system.
Okay.
But I would only have to do that in like those 90-degree days and things like that where it's like dry, extremely dry heat. And yeah, and it will control the any type of mitigation that will be flying around in the area. But it will be but by the closeness of the stockpiles and to the batch plant itself, I designed it that way so it'd be limited, even when it's in travel from the end loader to the bins where it gets getting loaded into. I apologize, I don't even got the video on. Hold on. There you go. Now it would be limit, the travel from picking up the stone and putting it into the concrete batch plant will be limited. I would say no more than about 80 feet to the bin itself, just to keep everything limited for flying around.
Okay, and the variance you're asking for involves fencing. Can you explain like what fencing you have around this area now?
Yes, it's chain link fence. I'm not over on the bottom third half. I'm like right at the top, the top area. I'm sorry, the first picture at the top. I'm right over in there, in the field part, all the way in the back. Now of course if you see right there, there is fencing going all around the property. It's it's almost similar to the same fencing that the city of Cleveland have on their side.
Okay, Maurice, I just have a question. What if there's existing fencing, why was it written up to have a variance for fencing?
For this kind of use with the storage of open storage of materials like sand and stones, you need a 7-foot high opaque solid fence to stop the sand and debris from blowing around. And that's why they were written up. And I do have concerns about the fact that there is no opaque, fencing anywhere on this site. I'm concerned that in some of the sides, obviously the building provides enough of a block that it's not going to be an issue. I guess my only concern was, let me show you.
Are going to be.
Right, well, there, and so there's housing over here. So I'm wondering if it makes sense to put a fence either here or actually more immediately around the stockpiles, I'm not so concerned about it going over towards the sewer district, but I am more concerned about it getting towards the residences. Those are my only concerns. Otherwise, I think this is a fine, considering the the former uses of this building. It's obviously been an industrial use for many, many years. And so we support it. We're just concerned about the fencing issue.
I agree with that.
And I believe the council.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I think that
the councilman had the same issue.
Yeah, I think the area where the actual stockpiles are going to be should have more insular 7-foot high fencing to ensure that, that the dust is blowing as minimally as possible from that. But I will open it up to my board members now if anyone has any additional questions.
Madam Chair, there were other people who were sworn in for comment.
Oh, you want to hear from them first? Okay. Mr. Brown, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard Brown, and I'm my client Larry Greer. I'm his business advisor with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. And my client, he has taken great lengths to be a benefit to his community with this concrete supply plant. I mean, the equipment that he's purchased is state of the art. He's worked with the Urban League to get funding to get this process up and running. We've helped him with additional access to capital to purchase equipment that he needed, to get the concrete plant up and running. He will be the only Black owned and operated concrete plant in the city of Cleveland. He's been featured in the Call and Post. So he's really he's a community stakeholder, and he wants this to work. So that's why we're here. We're asking for the variance. We understand your concerns and they're valid concerns, but we just want to, expedite this process. What we need to do to keep moving forward, so he can be a benefit to the community that he's trying to be. He's all about the community, and we're here to support him. And that's why I'm here to support my client.
Okay, thank you. Camille?
Hi, my name is Camille DeTore. I've been working with Larry as well. I actually helped him find this property in order to fit his plant and such. I could second everything that Mr. Brown just said. Larry's a very upholding citizen. He's, he really is looking to just do his best. He puts in hard work every day, and we're really looking to just get everything under control so that we can get this plant up and running finally and be in accordance with the city and not have any issues. I did have one quick thing. The stockpiles will be, they are within like a shedded area. I'm not sure that changes anything, but it doesn't appear the shed is actually in this picture on the line.
Yeah, I don't think it's on the plans either.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it is, because it's
in the shed or they're behind a shed.
So there's like there's a shed on the property, and it is, I mean, it's all covered except for in the front. So the stockpiles, and Larry, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the stockpiles would mostly be within that structure that. And again, I can pop over there today and get some images for you because I'm not seeing it on here.
No, actually, the stock, you got the shed that's sitting, you can barely see it, but where you saw that black mark where the building is at, that's where the building that we keep our yeah, there you go.
Okay.
That our equipment in the office, and then right next to that building, to the very top, that's the shed. Now, if you start moving out towards the cell phone tower, that's where our piles will be. But just to we're working, we're willing to work to make sure we be in we be in compliance with everything. We're also building. We're putting up concrete pillar blocks that will be 7 feet high to be able to control any dust that may be a nuisance or, anything, and as we move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
7-foot pillar blocks. I'm a little confused by that. What do they look like, or what are they going to do exactly?
All right, those blocks that I'm explaining, they're like those blocks that you see on the freeway, those dividers, but
Mhm.
they're made in like 2 feet blocks, 2 feet flat blocks, and we stack them on top of each other to be able to block, block and control any type of additional wind or whatever that can blow anything across in any direction.
Like a wall?
Yes.
Okay,
Like
that was
are
just
you
my
talking
thing.
about like the sound barriers that they put
No, it's
along the
not.
highways?
No, not that. It'll be something similar to like a retainer wall, or if you look when you're driving on the freeway and you look in the speed lane, those type of like divider walls. But they're
Oh, okay.
instead of it coming up to a point at the top, it's all flat, and we just stack the blocks on top of each other.
Okay, now I got what you. Yeah, I know what those are. All right.
Okay.
They
That
would
helps.
they would be similar to what is used to partition areas like at
Yeah, on
like
construction sites.
like
Yeah.
at
Yes.
construction
Yeah, I got
sites or
as soon as
like
he
yeah
said that, yeah, I got the visual of what they
yeah.
are. Okay. Well, if he's putting that around the stockpile area, I think that's appropriate border. What do you think, Maurice?
I agree 100%. Yeah, can we maybe just ask for that to be on the site
Added
plan
on
or
the
just
plans.
something
Yep.
other
Yep.
than that? Yeah, I'm absolutely, like I said, I fully support the business. Just as the councilman, also stated, we're just concerned about, keeping the dust down. That's all.
Thank you.
All right, great. Board members, any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Did Ms. Brown have a question? Did she get that
No, I
answered?
do not. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Only that the motion is going to include that mitigation.
Correct.
Yes.
And I had a question for the appellant. Could you give me an estimated cubic yardage for the piles?
The cubic yardage.
Yeah, do you know how large your piles are going to be? Like a volume?
It could be anywhere between like the volume. I won't let it go any as far as height. I won't let the piles go no more than like 6 feet tall.
Okay.
And regular as far as like the tonnage itself, you can basically put somewhere um, like somewhere around 50 to 75 tons that will be able to fit within those variances. That's the perimeters that I just mentioned, as far as keeping it down from the 7-foot height length.
Okay.
If I'm making any sense.
Yep, I'm familiar. And how many pieces of equipment do you envision operating? Like you're gonna have a front loader, a dump truck, something like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many
And
pieces? How many
you got
vehicles?
okay. You're looking at, as of right now, see the front end loader. You got dump truck. You have 4 concrete trucks
4 concrete
right
trucks.
now.
Okay, so at this point, you've got essentially 6 vehicles.
Yes, and we
And
coming from ground scratch,
okay.
everything ground up.
And you're doing 1 load at a time? I mean, it sounds like you're gonna be a fairly small operation. So are you doing 1 mixer at a time, or how's that gonna work?
Yes, to answer your question, in any concrete batch plant, it's one load at a time. Um, uh,
So I'm just like, how many trucks are gonna be coming in and out onto the street at any
well,
given time? Like, are you gonna load 1 mixer in like maybe 3 in succession, or is it just one that's going to be leaving, or
That to answer that question, it will all be depending on the type of job that we're doing. Because
Yeah, because you're not in operation yet, right? So some of these
Right.
questions you probably can't answer.
Right. We could
specifically.
end up, yeah, because we could be doing the city of Cleveland sidewalk job, and it's going to be requiring all 4 trucks on that job, and we have to fly back and forth to be able to keep up with the
Okay.
crews. You get it what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's that kind of like it all depends on the day and the type of job that we're doing.
Right.
Madam Chair, could I just ask a quick question of Mr. Greer? Where will the trucks actually be? Will they be using Eddy Road entrance as the entrance for dropping off and delivering materials?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right, Madam Chair, unless there's any other questions or discussions, we'll go to a motion.
Yes, please. I think Mr. Greer has been questioned out. So
Yep. I think he has a good business plan, clearly well supported by a number of agencies that are underpinning him and giving him financing, and that's really excellent. I think this is a business that is in need, not only in that neighborhood, but in the city. So kudos to you, Mr. Greer. So we have that you're going to keep the supply piles to 6 feet high, approximately 50 to 75 tons. Each supply pile will be surrounded by concrete supports and to help mitigate the dust, and that you're going to use a sprinkler system when necessary, again, to mitigate the dust. And and that you're going to be in operation from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's Monday through Friday. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So with that, Madam Chair, those stipulations, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 22-071.
thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Member Brown, I second.
Ms. Brown with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Madam Chair, sorry to interrupt. There was a mention of the piles being individually enclosed. Are we saying that, or do we just want one fence around the entire storage area?
Yeah, he said the concrete blocks will be around the stockpile area, so we won't say there will be individually. It'll just be the stockpile area will have the concrete barriers.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. And we are waiting for a revised drawing showing the screen.
Where they're gonna be. Yep.
Okay. Ms. Barnes,
Ms. Barnes? Ms. Barnes, yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 22-71 is granted. We will hold ratification until we receive that updated drawing. Once we receive it, we will ratify it the following Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, so Mr. Greer, give us those drawings showing where those concrete blocks are gonna be, and you'll be all set.
I'm right on. I'm getting on it right now. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,
God bless.
All right,
Good
God
luck to
bless.
you.
Thank you.
All right, last case for today is calendar number 22-090. This is at 1111 Fairfield Avenue. Eleni Marvis Tuleta, owner, and 1209 Fairfield LLC, prospective purchaser, proposed to erect a 4-story, 97-unit apartment building with 2,300 square feet of ground floor retail space in a G2 multifamily residential district and an urban form overlay district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Of note is number 2, section 341.02, which states that approval of the City Planning Commission Department is required. And to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do, state your name and your address. Thank you.
This would be Aaron Taylor, J-Rock Development. I do, 2515 J Avenue.
Bill Neberk, I do, 411 Southeast 58th Place, Portland, Oregon.
Thomas
Ali
Loby.
Hawthorne, I do, 2406 Professor Avenue, Cleveland.
Thomas Loby, the attorney for Micro House Cleveland LLC, and Dave Torito.
2242 West 11th.
Keith Sutton, 2301 Hamilton Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio.
You have to say David Torito, 2242 West 11th.
What was the name of that last person?
David Torito. David Torito, can they hear me?
Yeah, I got it.
Gene Zoleds, I do. 3229 Samaya Drive, Cleveland, Ohio, 44134.
Mr. Chairman, this is Tom Loby. Can I be heard before we start on this entire issue on a procedural matter?
It's Madam Chairwoman, and yeah.
I'm sorry.
You will in 1 second. We just need to get through all this, and I'll let you say something. Or anyone else? Okay, history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did not find very much on this address, this 111 Fairfield Avenue. Also, please note that 2226 West 11th Street is part of the project, but we have postponed that case due to an error in the public notice. So, Madam Chair, for the specific address of 1111 Fairfield, there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I found that in 1906, there was a building erected on the property and a garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the regulation of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, who wanted to make a statement?
If I may, Madam Chairman, Chairwoman, my name is Thomas Loby. I am the attorney for the adjoining property owners. I would ask that this matter be continued to June 27th, consistent with what this board's already done in calendar 22091. This is case number 22090, and I understand there's going to be another area variance for a generator. I believe that this is all one major development. All the facts will overlap, all the law will overlap, all the arguments will overlap. There's multiple levels. The applicant, the developer, will not be harmed if this is continued till that date, because this is one development. This board has already done it. Quasi-judicial bodies and judicial bodies favor consolidation of similar acts to avoid repetition and in the interest of judicial economy. Therefore, I am asking that this matter, 22090, 091, and the one with the generator, were all being primarily brought forward by 1209 Fairfield LLC, be heard at one time so that this board can understand the totality of all of the issues. Specifically, and I'll point out without getting too verbose, 22090 is the addition for a 2,300 square foot retail on a currently zoned property, which will have impact on the parking, which is the 22091. So I don't know how you should decide one without hearing both of them at the same time. Yes, they do have legal standards, but there is an overlapping of fact, law, and argument, and the applicant will not be harmed if it's delayed till June 27th. Additionally, I would like to point out that I also made a public records request to the city of Cleveland and Ms. Kukla, both through their portal, et cetera. And to this date, I have received some, but not all of the documents as requested. I requested this timely about a month ago. I received nothing about 5-6 days ago. I did in fact send emails back out asking for the documents. Ms. Kukla did give me certain documents. I then had to go back and get some more documents. And as I sit here today, I, on behalf of the adjoining property owners, do not have the entire file that was requested through public records. So I am at a disadvantage to argue even 22090, let alone 22091, because of that, at no fault of our own. So both for the procedural and the substantive and the consolidation issues, I think this matter should be continued till June 27th, which it already, this board already did in calendar 22091. It's one large major development. Thank you.
Thank you. The appellant, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is Aaron Taylor, J-Rock Development. Just a couple minor clarifications here and a couple questions. So for 090, the owner is 1209 West Fairfield. It's incorrectly stated here as Eleni Tutela. That's not the correct owner. The correct owner for 091 is Eleni Tutela. That's 2226 West 11th. That's the parking lot that the gentleman was just referencing. And then with regards to there being a generator, there's not a generator. I think they're referencing a transformer, electrical transformer. So that is, considerably different from a generator, but I can appreciate the clarification. This is my first time I'm hearing that 2226 West 11th, so 091 is being postponed, and if you could just clarify why that is the case.
Yeah, so Ms. Kukla can give you more details, but essentially the advertisement that went out was not entirely correct. And so we have to make sure that what you're asking for is entirely correct before we advertise it out. So there was a mistake in the write-up. And so due to that, it had to be postponed. Is that correct, Ms. Kukla?
Yes, Madam Chair. It is specifically related to the structure that they're talking about. So that was not placed on the notice of nonconformance originally. I'm not sure if it was on the plan originally or where the error occurred. But the drawings that we have here, that building and Board of Zoning Appeals shows that structure that Mr. Taylor is referencing. However, the notice that went out was only referencing what was on the notice of nonconformance. So that needs to be posted again. It's significant enough that the neighbors should know about that additional variance. So we are required to send out another public notice.
And just to clarify, that was on the original plan sent to zoning review, Mr. Riccardi, but understood that there was some mistake somewhere along the line. So in terms of our response, I mean, it's easy to say from one party to the next that there's no, harm to the applicant. I mean, these gentlemen are developers. They know very well what timelines and impacts of timelines have on a project. So, it was our goal to have both heard today and have a ruling heard. I understand for good reason one will not be. So from a matter of having them heard together, he's accurate. It is one big project. I guess I leave it up to the board to say what is appropriate in that regard. We have, support from you know, everyone we spoke to in the community, but the gentlemen, the neighbors that I've spoken to, including the Block Club, unanimous support, Tremont West Economic Development, the councilman, and City Planning Commission, City Planning Department. So there's a lot of support behind this project, but for, it sounds like the neighbors, and I can appreciate where they're coming from. So, you know, go ahead.
Well, the one thing I might offer that I did hear was that they are.
Who's speaking?
I'm sorry, this is Bill Naburka. I'm the architect for the project.
Okay, go ahead.
That they are dependent on one another. And as far as parking, the parking for the retail space is accommodated within the structure within this proposal. So while the parking lot that will be delayed is supportive of the project, it is not, the project is not dependent on that parking per se by zoning.
The parking is important from a economic viability of the project, and from the neighborhood standpoint. That was they spoke at our first Block Club meeting, and the biggest takeaway, the biggest concern at the time was parking for the project, that there wasn't enough parking. And at that point, that's when we engaged the neighboring lot to look to purchase that lot for additional parking to benefit the project from, you know, just a value add proposition, but also the neighborhood from keeping, you know, congestion off the streets, which was a big concern of the global or the, you know, greater community, the greater Tremont neighborhood, including the businesses that surround on the four corners.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, we're gonna,
I also have a question regarding the parking.
Oh, can I finish my thought first and then we'll go to you? Thank you. Mr. Taylor, so are you saying here that you, although it may, you know, cause a delay, that you don't have an objection to hearing both of these cases together in June?
Bill, how do you feel about that?
That's essentially what we're talking. You guys are getting into details of the case, so this is what we need to clarify right now before we start going into who's parking where.
I think the preference would be is that this case is heard today for this project. It's a standalone project. The variance that's requested for the retail space, the parking requirement for that can be accommodated within this project. The other surface parking lot that needs to be delayed is in support of the project, but not contingent. The project is not contingent on that. I think, you know, bird in the hand, we'd love to hear an approval of this today, the case in front of us, and subsequently deal with the surface parking lot as the amenity that it is for the project, not necessarily as a component of the project.
Okay, I'm okay with either form. So if you want to postpone for both, or if you want to hear it today, I'm okay with that. Board, would you like to weigh in on that?
Is it okay, Madam Chairwoman, that I re-respond? Is that what you're asking? Because I have one.
No, I'm asking my board if.
I'm so sorry.
No problem. I'm asking my board how they feel about this. There's two separate owners, so I'm okay with proceeding, but I need to make sure my board's okay with it.
Madam Chair, I'm okay with proceeding. The architect says that we could, you know, I think he said that the parking can be supported. You know, they run the risk that we think it doesn't, right? After we listen to the testimony, but I'm okay with listening.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I am fine with whatever the board wishes to do.
Well, you're on the board. That's why I
Right,
was asking.
right.
Well, and
Well-
you're an architect, so what's your judgment on this?
On one hand, I feel like it might make sense to hear it all together. But I also am sensitive to the fact that, you know, a delay, you know, affects the economic process with the developer. So, I guess I could go either way.
Okay, well, we'll move forward. Mr. Taylor, go ahead and present your case.
All right.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. So we're here today, I guess, to speak specifically about the Driftwood mixed-use apartment building that's going on the corner, that we propose to go on the corner of West 11th and Fairfield. There was a previously proposed project here that was actually fully entitled. The developer went through a very lengthy process trying to seek community support for it. Ultimately, he did, but it was at a, you know, from a different design perspective than we did, and the community left feeling they got the best design they could from that specific developer and architect, but they were left unsatisfied by it. It just didn't meet the design standards I think the people, the community felt that this area deserved. And so we purchased the project from that developer, and we are, you know, a local developer here. We focus on higher end designs and spaces that really, you know, lend value to people and, you know, creativity and all that. So design and just the impact on the neighborhood and how it fits into the neighborhood, it's really important to us. So you'll see a design that is thoughtful, we believe, and done with intent. And we've gotten, like I said, you know, very good support, you know, for this project. You know, again, at the, and there's letters to support this, but we had unanimous support from the Block Club. We had, you know, great support, nearly unanimous from Tremont West. There was just an abstention because that person was part of the Block Club and they wanted to hold their vote for that meeting, which they did vote in favor at that meeting. The councilman, as he puts it, is 1,000% behind this project. And, you know, that would include the parking lot next door. And no, we're not speaking to that, so I'll refrain from doing that. And then, you know, the City Planning Commission as well has been very supportive of this project. So what you're seeing here are those letters that were sent in from those groups that I just mentioned. We can jump right into the meat of the project if that works for you all. So it's a 4/1 residential unit. It's a mixed use unit, so 4 floors over 1 parking podium. It's a total of about 130,000 square feet. There would be 101 units, 101 apartments, and then a retail component at the corner, which would be about 1,400 square feet. So for this project, the only variance is for the retail component to have that in a residential district. Chairman, Madam Chair, Lillian Curry actually thought it was ironic that a variance was required for retail when they should be promoting retail in this kind of environment. There is retail at the other 3 corners, being Loop Coffee Shop, Parallax, which is a restaurant, and then Southside, which is also a restaurant. And so this is on that hard corner. This is that parking lot that Southside commonly uses. So, you know, from a construction, from a cost standpoint, from a owner standpoint, you know, we are developers and owners, and we manage the project as well. So this is our baby, and we take it very seriously in terms of what we do there and how to make it thrive. So we felt, although these retail components can be loss leaders at times for us developers, we felt it was really important for the urban planning of the neighborhood, the viability, the walkability, the activity level, to have on that hard corner a retail component to match the others as well. Also as a benefit to our project, as an amenity, to kind of have something that's active, that people would want to be a part of, that helps grow the community, that grows the community in the building, that then helps grow in a healthy community in the neighborhood. And so that's one of the main reasons we're doing that, even though, again, it's from a profit standpoint, it's not the greatest return. That said, you know, we're looking at making that corner active, and that's important. So that'll help. The project has 92 parking stalls within the garage. 10 of those will be, at least 10 will be electric car charging stations. We're going to have bike parking, and then there'll be a scooter parking area on West 11th and Tree Lawn, and additional parking for bikes on the Tree Lawn as well. So we could go through, if you're interested in seeing like the layout and the project, I'd be happy to go through that, or if you'd like to just ask some questions about it.
Just a quick question. I didn't hear the unit count you said for this building.
100, yeah, it's 101.
Does that include the retail or not?
That does not include the retail. The retail is a separate 1,400 square feet.
Okay. And just to make, you know, everyone clear, like you said, we're not here for the parking right now. That case has been postponed, as well as the only variance they need today is for the retail use at the bottom of the building. So just make sure that we keep in mind that's what they're here for today. Yeah,
So,
you
Madam
can just,
Chair,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. This is probably a question for our attorney then. The notice of nonconformance for this specific portion of the project stated 97 units and 2,300 square feet of retail. So to the attorney, are these 4 additional units enough for us to repost this? And maybe this is a question for Mr. Riccardi too. Does that change the calculations for the parking and such? The notice of nonconformance stated 97 units, residential units.
Madam Chairwoman, was that a question to me? Or as attorney for the property owners, or to somebody else? Because I have a comment.
No, she's asking the city folks.
Okay.
Sorry, I'd have to look at what the standard is. Do you know what type of difference?
0.65. That's 0.65. Maurice, if you want to jump in to 1, is the parking standard. So we are in excess of that, even at 101 units. And 90.
I think Mr.
Madam Chair,
Riccardi needs to jump in here.
Yes, he makes the final determination.
It is true that in an urban form overlay district pursuant to the zoning code, they're only required to have 65% of the otherwise required parking in 34904.
Okay, Liz?
Madam Chair, I think it would be best legally for us to reschedule this. We need the correct information to go out. I have a feeling that if this went to court, they would likely require us to reschedule it as well due to the misinformation that went out.
Okay, well, it looks like we'll be hearing everybody together anyway. We'll postpone this to the June date. What date was that? The
June 27th.
All right, we'll postpone this to the June 27th. And we will.
May I ask why that's the date? Is there a sooner date that can be?
No, we do 30 days out. So that's the only reason, because we have to have time to advertise and get and mail it out to people. Because other than that, yeah. So we'll put you on the June 27th. And you know, due to there's just some clerical errors there, we'll try to hear them first. All right, Ms. Kukla.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you. And we'll
Thank
keep
you.
we'll keep all this testimony. We'll keep it on the record. So we'll just pick up from where we left off here, so we don't have to rehash everything we just talked about.
Okay.
All right.
It was a dry run.
Yeah.
Practice run.
Ms. Brett, I didn't have an opportunity to speak about this yet, but I did have some concern regarding sustainability with the parking, the additional with the retail and also the units. They mentioned 101 or 102 units, and they only have 92 parking spaces. I was just concerned, what size is, what square footage are these units gonna be?
Sir, we've already postponed the case, so you can definitely bring your question and concerns back on the 27th because we're not ruling on the case today. So we're not going to take any more testimony, but
Okay.
you're more than welcome to come back on the 27th and ask your questions.
How would I ascertain getting some additional information? For this?
Mr. Hawthorne, I know the CDC's on, so can you reach out to Tremont West to get more information? They can connect you with the developer as well.
So you're saying Tremont West?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have our information, sir?
It's just a phone number. Oh, I'll find it. Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, this are we done?
We're
Was
done.
that the last case? Okay, good.
That was it.
All right. Oh, business. Do we have any?
We have 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. Thanks for having that printout, Ms. Faith, because I don't have it. All right, here we go. Yes. Oh, business. Number 1, and then 3 through 6 without objection, board.
Without objection.
Without objection.
No. All righty.
Madam
And we
Chair,
don't have-
I have a new employee to introduce to you.
Oh,
Well, that's right.
It's Ms.
Is this-
Brittany Jones.
is this your much needed help that you have here?
Yes,
Ms. Cooper?
ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. I don't see your face. Show us your face.
I see her.
Oh, I lost her. So we haven't figured out again how.
Oh, yeah. I was seeing her and was like, what case is she for? She was just like lingering around. Okay. All right. Welcome, Ms. Jones.
She's a stalker.
Welcome to BZA. I know, right?
Thank you. Well, thank you guys.
I'm super
Thank
excited. She came from recreation. She has a ton of energy and is very smart. And so we're super excited to have her.
Very good.
Great.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
I
All
met
right, well,
her.
that's-
I met her last week, so it's good to see her face again.
Okay, good. Well, it's always nice to end on a high note. All right. So everyone have a good week and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you again. Everybody have a good
Yeah,
Memorial
good
weekend.
Good holiday.
You too.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.